Hello everybody and welcome to our first ever video edition of our Going Out on a Limb segment. I'm Ryan with Sports Stuff Hub. You can check us out on Facebook at sportsstuffhub.com, or you can like us on Facebook, just search Sports Stuff Hub. Both sites have links to our YouTube channel where you can check out all of our current and former videos, as well as you can see our live stream feeds when they're available. It's week 15 in the NFL. Several teams have already locked their playoff spot, while a number of teams are fighting for that playoff hope. What we're going to do in this segment is we're going to discuss my bold predictions for going into this week, based off of stats from this year. This is stuff you wouldn't expect to have happen, but the stuff you see on SportsCenter afterwards, where they're discussing somebody got lit up, somebody stopped an amazing streak. So tonight is our first game between the St. Louis Rams and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tampa Bay is the number 8 rush defense in the NFL, allowing just 94 yards on the ground per game. My bold prediction, Todd Gurley continues his streak, and he goes off for 130 yards on the ground himself tonight. Gurley had a nice run earlier in the season that went through midseason. He went cold for a few games. People started to question if it was a rookie wall that he hit. Then he bounced back against Detroit, tore him up. I expect Gurley to produce tonight. I expect him to have a very good game. 130 yards on the ground gets him back on track for his potential Rookie of the Year award. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2 is the Giants versus Carolina. My prediction in this game is not that Giants will win. My prediction is that they will score 24 points on Carolina's great defense. Carolina is the number 5 pass defense in the NFL, averaging 223 yards allowed per game. That's ranked number 5 best, not worst, best. My prediction in this is that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a huge part of this. He's going to hit over 100 yards this week, plus a touchdown. Carolina won't be able to stop him. They're going to give up 24 points to the Giants. Carolina still wins the game, because Cam Newton's going to tear apart the Giants' really bad secondary. But the Giants will put up 24 points. My prediction number 3 is the Cleveland-Seattle game. Cleveland travels to Seattle. Now, I know Mike Pettine just put up some billboard material for Russell Wilson. All that aside, Seattle's still going to win. My prediction, though, is that Johnny Manziel, coming into this game in Seattle, is going to put up 300 passing yards on Seattle's defense. Seattle has been easily thrown on this year by good quarterbacks. The problem was Kerry Williams was giving up tons of yardage. Kerry Williams is now gone, Shed has stepped up, and Jeremy Lane is back. But Cam Chancellor is ailing from an injury right now. I haven't seen any reports as of whether or not he's going to play, but he's still injured. Regardless, Cleveland's going to be playing from behind. Manziel's going to be forced to throw the ball. 2 weaknesses that Seattle has had this season are 2 strengths that the Browns have. Really, they're only 2 strengths that they've had this year. Gary Barnidge is having a breakout season. He's one of the top-ranked tight ends in the NFL right now, and Seattle has struggled defending the tight end. Everybody's seen it. Everybody knows it. Case in point, the Carolina game. They ended up losing that game because they couldn't cover Greg Olsen, or they didn't cover Greg Olsen. Barnidge should have a solid game this week in order to help Manziel get to 300 yards. Travis Benjamin, the speedster, is going to stretch the field, making it easier for those underneath passes to Barnidge. The other area that Seattle has struggled this year is backs receiving out of the backfield. There's been a number of games this year where they haven't been able to slow down the backs coming out of the backfield and catching 5 receptions for 60-plus yards. I see Duke Johnson coming up big in this game for a great amount of yardage. Like I said before, it's not going to be a Cleveland victory by any stretch of the imagination. I'm expecting this to be a 20-plus or more, 20-plus score thumping. Seattle, I just think, is gonna walk all over them, but because Manziel's going to be playing from behind most of the game, he's going to be forced to throw the ball quite a bit. And like I said, he's going to be having to target the underneath routes to Barnidge, to Duke Johnson, and he's going to have to get some big yardage from those guys. That's my bold prediction for this week in that game, is that Manziel will throw for 300 yards. My fourth prediction is between the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots. I know what everybody thinks. Tom Brady's on his retribution tour, or he's trying to make a statement because of the whole Deflategate thing. He's mad, he's pissed off, blah blah blah. Okay, fine, it is what it is. Tennessee though is ranked number 9 in pass defense. They're allowing only 232 pass yards per game, but they've given up a whopping 28 touchdowns, and they've got 10 interceptions in their secondary. What I think is going to happen in this game is not that Brady's going to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. My bold prediction is that he's going to throw 2 interceptions, potentially even some game-changing ones. New England will still win the game, but it's going to make it a lot closer. I don't expect Marcus Mariota to have a massive impact in this game, but I do anticipate Tennessee picking off Brady twice and potentially even running them back for touchdowns, one of them, if not both of them. Like I said, putting them in contestation to at least be in the game. My fifth bold prediction out of 7 is going to be the Steelers and Denver game. Denver is the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. Everybody knows it. 188 yards per game allowed, only 13 touchdowns allowed, and they're top 5 in sacks. What I think is going to happen in this game, I also have Pittsburgh predicted to win, but what I think is going to happen in this game is that Ben is going to throw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against Denver. One of the reasons why I think that's going to happen is Ben has only had 3 games this year where he hasn't thrown for 300 yards, one of which was an early exit because he got injured. 2 other games were, one of them, it was his first game back from being injured against Cincinnati. He has a history of not playing well in first game back after an injury. So I think that Ben will take him for 300 yards, even though they're the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. And the reason that is because of his triplet receivers of Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and Marcus Wheaton. They are the most dangerous trio in the NFL. There's no other team that has 3 receivers that can change a game like that. Antonio Brown, if he can get open, he's a yard after the catch machine. Martavis Bryant can stretch the field, and Marcus Wheaton has been an up-and-comer ever since about mid-season he started to turn it on. I actually had Marcus Wheaton as being a breakout player this year. He kind of let me down earlier in the season, but a lot of the receivers for the Steelers did based off of Ben being injured. Michael Vick just didn't play up to par. But anyway, my prediction for that game is that Ben will throw 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against Denver. My last 2 predictions for this week are going to be just based off of who's going to upset who. My big one is going to be San Francisco taking down Cincinnati. No Andy Dalton. A.J. McCarron had some bright spots in last week's game versus the Steelers, but everybody saw it. When he got pressure put on him, he couldn't see the field well enough in order to get rid of the ball in a clearing. The pick 6 that William Gay ran back was a perfect example of that. It was supposed to be a quick pass. He had pressure coming in his face. He got rid of the ball. Gay jumped the route, runs it back for 6. I anticipate San Francisco doing much the same as what Pittsburgh did to him, and I think that San Francisco is going to take Cincinnati down on their home turf, in San Fran's home turf. That's my big upset. My next one is, whether you call it an upset is a matter of opinion. Atlanta started off hot this year, had fizzled out the last half of the season big time. 1 win in 7 games. Not good. Starting off 6-0, great. Just can't finish. My prediction is that Jacksonville is going to take down Atlanta. Their struggles are going to continue on defense. Their offensive struggles are going to continue. I see Blake Bortles lighting them up for 3+ touchdowns. Blake Bortles has become the best quarterback out of the last year's draft class. Derek Carr has struggled as of late. He's still a very good quarterback in the face of their franchise for years to come. Johnny Manziel hasn't proven anything. Teddy Bridgewater so far has been, streaky at best, but he's still just a game manager. He's not lighting up the stats or anything. Blake Bortles, on the other hand, touchdown machine. He's efficient. He's thrown for yardage. I think that the Jaguars take down Atlanta this week. I'm Ryan with Sports Stuff Hub, and this was our Going Out on a Limb section. Make sure you check us out online at sportsstuffhub.com, as well as on our Facebook page. Just search Sports Stuff Hub.